Hi everyone, and welcome to my latest video. Today I am going to present to you a review of the Vevor Complete Kit pocket hole jig. With these words and without further ado, let me open up the casing and present to you what comes in it. As you can see, the first thing that is right on top of the case is the instruction manual or owner's manual, and this particular model is the XRS040. Now, as you can see here, this particular model is the one with the so-called stabilizers on the left and right, and I will explain to you what these stabilizers actually do. The manual has got a lot of photographs and a good number of texts that explain how to use the equipment, and at the very end here we have a troubleshooting section in which the manufacturer has taken the trouble to explain some problems one might encounter and the solutions that are applicable. The first part that I have already taken out is this very important clamp. As you can see, it's got adjustable jaws here, and you can adjust it from here, you can further adjust it from here, and basically the purpose of this clamp is to secure the jig as well as the pieces that of wood that you are working with onto the workbench. This is very useful clamp. However, I would recommend that you also go for this type of clamp, which is similar. It's called a right angle clamp, and it's got a steel dowel here. And what happens with this steel dowel is that when you have drilled your pocket hole, I'm going to show you here, you insert it here, and of course at the bottom here you have got the other piece that you want to connect, and this one provides you an extra pair of hands, so to speak, so you are free to do whatever other work you might wish to do, like for instance drilling this pocket hole over here. So I would recommend that if you are seriously involved with pocket hole work, you do get hold of one of these clamps as well. Right, so these are the parts of the kit, and they are the main pocket hole jig is this one. It's made out of very strong aluminium base, which has been pre-drilled and countersunk in 5 locations, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that you can secure it on a base, on a permanent base. The jig consists of a toggle clamp, which is very strong, nicely chromed parts here and here, held by very large Allen keys, and it's provided with a rubber pad, which again is of appropriate dimension, and it's quite strong. What is very interesting and very convenient is that here and here you can see there is a scale of metric units and there is a scale of imperial units over here. So when you put your piece of wood here, you can immediately see how thick it is. You don't need to measure it unless you really want to. The unit has been provided with 2 trapezoidal uprights. They are made out of steel, held with Allen bolts here, and these are 3 mm thick, which makes them extremely strong. On this side here you have got a scale of imperial units, and on this side here you have got a scale of metric units, and this is the jig. This is the main jig. So the main jig, because of the way it stows here, does not have what is called the main segment. I'll show you the main segment right now. The main segment is here, and very conveniently the main segment comes with a mobile jig, so to speak. And what happens here is the moment you loosen this golden knurled knobs, the main segment can move up and down. Again, we have got metric scale here and an imperial scale here. And of course, you can see there is a little arrow here which adjusts the height of the main segment in accordance with the thickness of the wood that you want to introduce pocket holes to. This is very good because depending on the size of your wood, etc., you have to adjust it first of all. But then what you do is you can take your piece of wood, you just fit it like that, and you have a mobile way. Of course, you get to clamp it, but you do have a mobile way of drilling pocket holes without using the main jig. That is a very thoughtful way of providing an alternative way of drilling pocket holes. As you can see, the main segment has been provided with stainless steel inserts, and what is important here to point out, you will see that here and here the block has been machined to produce an element that protrudes, and therefore when you set the main segment against the uprights, it makes a very secure combination. Now I'm going to remove these knurled knobs and I'm going to fit the main segment onto the main jig, like so. By the way, I must point out that the knobs are provided with little plastic washers, which make the securing even more positive. Okay, so we have one here and another one, of course, on the other side. And basically now the main jig is ready for work, so to speak. This part of the toggle clamp, of course, is cast iron. I didn't mention that earlier. I mention it now. And of course, the handle has got a very substantial plastic cover here, which is very convenient. Right, okay, let me tell you now what else comes together with the kit. First of all, we have, let's start with the easy part. We have a bag of a number of screws, which are, as you know, are special screws for using with a pocket hole jig. As you will see, the head has got a square opening here so that you can insert the driver, and I'll show you the driver in a second. On the other hand, what you have is at the base of the head you have got an incorporated washer, and this is typical of all screws that are being used for pocket hole jigs. Now you can see here the thread is a coarse thread, and of course the coarse thread is there to be used for the screw to be used with softwoods. If you were using hardwoods, that would have been a fine thread. Right. A part of the screws in here, this little bag contains wooden plugs which you use in order to hide the pocket hole once you have put the screw inside. So you put this inside, and probably you put a little bit of glue, and once you have polished the wood, it sort of hides the location of the pocket hole quite well. If you don't want to use it, of course, you don't have to, but you can turn the pocket holes on the inside of your construction so they don't show immediately, or at the back of, let's say, a drawer or whatever you're building. Right, okay, so I was talking about the screws, and I told you that they are special screws, and they are of a square indentation, because what we have here is we have two screwdrivers. These are bits of screwdrivers, and as you can see, the heads of these bits are square. The section is square, And therefore what happens, let me show you. When you have a screw that is for, this is a cottage screw, i.e. for external use, the square drive goes straight into the head of the screw, so to speak. And of course the same thing happens here. And this is longer, of course, this is 6 inches, and this is only about, let's say, 2.5 inches. It depends when you use them. Depending on the location where you're working, you will use the long one or you will use the shorter one. Right. Now, in the same bag come 2 drill bits. And these drill bits are again typical of a pocket hole use, because as you will see, this is an ordinary drill bit. However, in the front you have got a pilot drill which prepares, so to speak, the hole that you're drilling to accept the screw, the special screw that is used for pocket holes. You have 2 of them, and you use these together with these 2 sleeves or collars. And what happens here is you can fit the, let me untighten this a bit, and basically, right, so once you insert it, it can slide up and down, and the location where you will secure it depends very much on an adjustment you do on the main jig, which I will show you in a moment. You have 2 of them, so maybe you keep one of them as spare, or you will use one of them for one thickness of steel, whereas you will use the other one for another thickness. So that's how you will use the screw bits. You have 2 collars, and that is really all that you need. This small Allen key is for the small Allen bolts that you have here, and the larger Allen key is to secure the Allen bolts that are holding the trapezoidal uprights. Of course, you will use the same key for the mobile version of the kit. Right, next come two of these rods. These rods, as you can see, are threaded at the ends, and they are, I believe, 26 centimeters long. And the purpose of this is as follows. Let me just move the box away so that I can show you the usage of the long bolts here, the rods. Here you have got a threaded hole, so we put one of these rods here, and the other one will go here, and your kit is now like so. And the purpose of these so-called stabilizers is because the kit has been provided with these brackets, which in fact are aluminium angle bars, 2 of them, and as you will see, you have got a hole that goes right through the bracket this way, but also you have a hole here which again goes right through. Now, what's the purpose of these 2? The purpose of these 2 is that you locate them like so, and like so, on the right side of the operator as well as on the left side of the operator. And here at the back you have got little Allen keys that you can tighten so these things don't move. And basically the purpose of them being like that is so that when you have a piece of wood or plywood that you wish to work on, they position it at the same height with the height of the main jig. And that is a very convenient way of doing things. Alternatively, if you have a number of pieces of wood that you want to drill at the same location, then you take out these angle bars. I call them angle bars. In effect, they are, let's say, stoppers in this case. You take your piece of wood here and you bring this flush on either side, flush with the wood, and so you tighten them. The next thing you do is you can do a large number of identical pieces of wood. You can place them here and you can drill them at the same location, which is very convenient because you sort of automate your way of working. Right, I think these are all the parts of the kit. One thing that I didn't mention about these two little driver bits is that they are magnetic. Right, I think now what I will do is I will drill. I have already drilled holes on this one, and as you can see, they are very, very clean holes. I will drill one more right now so that you can see how the kit works. But before I do that, I have to adjust the main segment in accordance with the thickness of this piece of wood. I know this piece of wood is 38 millimeters. Let me remove this because we don't need them at the moment. These are usually utilized either with a large piece of plywood or wood, or with, like I said earlier, with pieces of wood that you want to have a consistent way of measuring of pocket hole positions. So I'll set it at 38. I am setting the little pointer to 38. I tighten this side and then I tighten this one. So I shall put this here. And one thing that I want to bring to your attention is when you tighten your toggle clamp, be mindful of not tightening it with extreme force, because you will see that if this is extended too far, this part of the jig might start deforming this way. I have not had with any of my other pocket hole jigs any problems, because I have always been careful not to over tighten. But if you do over tighten it quite a few times, you might find that you get some problem with the threaded parts that accept the Allen keys. So now we are ready. Let me show you the next part of the adjustment before we do the drilling, which is I take a piece of wood. Now the collar is loose, and what I do is I put a piece of wood down here because I don't want the drilling bit to hit the aluminium body of the main jig. And now that we're at this position, I shall, as you can see here, we're well within the center of the thickness, but I shall prove it to you. Bear with me and I shall show you exactly where we go. I have tightened this slightly, and then what I'll do is I'll remove it and make sure that it is tight. Here is my drill, and my drill has been arranged so that the torque collar is against the drill icon. Right, so here we are. Now what I need to do is I shall move this way, and I shall use a separate clamp to hold the jig on my workbench here. So we are ready. So let me drill. Right, as you can see, the debris and dust exit from this side here. And so let us see the... Right, as you can see again, this is a very, very clean pocket hole. And let me point this here. Maybe you can see that there is a little dimple here that indicates that the drill bit, the pilot part, was just about to exit here, but we don't want it to exit. Why? Because we are going to use this very special drill. I always like to drill pilot holes, and basically how we do that, once you have drilled your pocket hole, I have marked it already, as you can see. Therefore, by the time I finish drilling up to here, I have got approximately 2 centimeters, which will go into the other piece that we are going to use. So you see, by drilling a pre-drill, a pilot hole, what you're doing is you're going to make your life a lot easier when the time comes for you to tighten your screw that will go onto the next piece that you want to connect here. You will connect a piece either this way or vertically at 90 degrees. So as you can see, this is a very capable pocket hole jig, and the main advantage is those stabilizing rods that it has, because eventually what I will do, I will use a piece of plywood or MDF, whatever, to mount the whole jig and secure it on it, so that you can have the stabilizers permanently in place. And basically that will make for a very convenient way of working, because once you have your system in position here, you will place your stabilizers this way, and you will have the convenience of doing your work. So as you can see, now this is a simulation, so to speak, of how the permanent jig location will be. And obviously what you do is you either work with boards of plywood or wood, or with short pieces of 2 by or let's say 1 by inch wood. So I think this is the full description of the Vevor pocket hole jig. My conclusion is that this is a very well constructed unit. It is well designed, it performs with very good results, and it gives one the opportunity to create a really worthwhile pocket hole system. Another big plus is that the price of the whole kit in the box is extremely reasonable. Please remember that if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, please let me have them and I will respond to you immediately. I wish to thank you for being with me today and for watching me describe the Vevor pocket hole jig, XRS040, and I hope to see you in my next video. Until then, bye bye, and thank you for being with me today.